tight corner. And Tom tries to do the same all the while. Gordon Dury doing his bit for Rangers.
So I don't think there's any value in Andres Tom being back there, Mark. I know it's great to see, and at the best of times, in normal circumstances, you'd be saying great. But I think you should be leaving that to someone else, either in his back four or his midfield. And he should just be committing himself to being up front.
And Claren can smile. Weghorst is told to calm down. With the sort of finishing that Denmark will hope to utilise in Euro 96. The sort of finishing that Rangers haven't seen too much of this season. Overall, with an injury or two to deal with, it's not been quite as dramatic as his first season in Scotland, but it's certainly been a dramatic contribution in the context of the Tennent's Cup semi-final. Whistle's gone. Oh, there's another booking here. Well, Weghorst, who was spoken to a moment or two ago. Convoy trying to intervene. Just, I think, to clarify proceedings. It's a free kick. But Rangers can almost relax over Gascoigne. At least they've sent Petric up. And he doesn't quite get there because Hughes hasn't lost his concentration. The call from Margaret's corner. But got back onside as Gascoigne fed him the ball again. Donnelly can't prevent the cross. Petric had stayed up there. It's only just too high for him at the far post.
Yeah, Brian Laudrup looks like he's enjoying this game now. And no surprise after the part he played in the goal. Takes that really well. It's a difficult ball, but the goalkeeper did make up his mind. He's got the ability to do that. Yeah, and this is what it meant to Walter Smith.
You don't see him let his guard down like that too often, but he had plenty of reason to wear his heart on his sleeve then. It was a well-worked goal, but it was also a triumph for Rangers' tactics, having come out for the second half, a goal to the good.
And that just shows you that you can have as much possession in games as you like, and if you don't have a cutting edge and you don't make the most of it, then people can make you pay.
There might be more to come from Rangers yet. Laudrup, of course, concerned about being offside and not wanting to run where Laudrup wanted to play the ball. Van Hooijdonk. McNamara.
Now that's a bit straight. Much difference in the attempts at goal. There's a vast difference in how many have been put on target.
Listen, the one Celtic managed certainly troubled Andy Gorham through the power in each day's effort. But when Rangers scored from a rebound off the goalkeeper, Celtic couldn't reply in kind. Rangers fans in very good humour and very good voice now. It's a long while before this semi-final started to shape up their way. The attendance not quite total capacity, that's just under 38,000 these days. I have to say the prices that the fans have paid, less than half charged for the English equivalent last weekend. Well, it's going to take something truly dramatic here for Celtic to avoid losing their grip on the Scottish Cup. Not impossible, but the signs haven't been totally encouraging. Robertson, the culprit this time.
If something's going to happen for Celtic, it's going to happen very quickly. Somebody's got to produce something for them, something out of the ordinary, something unexpected. Or someone's going to have to make a mistake and Rangers defence to give them a chance. For 75 minutes, I think Tommy Burns will feel that Rangers have coped quite comfortably with what Celtic have had to offer as an attacking force. That's been the major difference in the sides. There's been the cutting edge of both sides. Walter Smith's side has had that cutting edge. Tommy Burns' side up till now hasn't.
Well, now Celtic badly need someone to get their head on this free kick. And maybe this corner. Gorham, who came out to try and deal with the ball in from McNamara. Staying down.
He's not the biggest of goalkeepers, Andy Gorham, and when he comes into traffic, there is a chance that he's going to get thumped. He does rush run into Gordon Petric. That's where the clash comes.
Now, Rangers do have a substitute goalkeeper if required. Colin Scott, a loyal reserve here. Of course, they've signed the Dutchman Theo Snelders recently. He's not eligible today. Hasn't had too many opportunities, Colin Scott, but he's there if required. Chance for us to remind you about our Monday night football. And what a game, Blackburn against Newcastle. Alan Shearer, Newcastle born. He spoiled Newcastle's attempts to improve their recently indifferent away record at such a critical time in the championship race. McKinley takes the corner. McStay. McNamara. And Gorham, if he was shaken, will be pleased that that came close enough to really stop any Celtic player coming in with any hope of reaching it before the Rangers goalkeeper. Well, it's looking very much as though it's going to be Rangers against Hearts in this year's Tennent's Scottish Cup final. Of course, Hearts were the last side to beat Rangers at Ibrox as well, back in January. And Celtic's 29-game unbeaten streak in domestic competition, though it's going to be cracked here by the side that this season has just, when it's mattered, held the upper hand in the Old Firm clashes. It certainly mattered today. And Rangers closing in on the right result. Trevor Stephen looks as though he's going to play a part again. A comeback that will mean a great deal to him and his followers. McNamara. Good covering by Petric. And they've needed a player to be in the right place defensively. There's been a reliability about Rangers at the back.
They work well, actually, Martin. The three centre-backs really, they know their jobs. They're very well organised.
Well, Gordon Jury has done a job for the side, as well as being involved in the second goal, and indeed, if you trace back the first one as well, there's some good control from him, and he's chased up and down against Tosh McKinley. But for the last 10 minutes, that job is passed to Trevor Stephen, who's been out since August, a cartilage operation. That took 4 months to recover from, and then a blood clot in a calf. Put the comeback on hold again. McStay. That's McLaren in the way. Grant. This is Donnelly. Now McNamara. It's a little bit of holding earlier on by Robertson, but went unspotted. And Rangers break out here through Robertson. In the end, a certain amount of justice that Marshall was able to get it, and the Close wasn't able to have a chance. Van Hooydonk, Donnelly.
I think that's typical of what's went wrong for Celtic today. Just at the last minute, the final pass, the final ball has just let them down too often today.
Coming from the Rangers bench, David Dodds and Archie Knox, he's trying to get his players perhaps to not sit back. Just the risk if Celtic get one, then the nerves really would be rattled, and there might be another one, and Van Hooydonk has got one! So Celtic not out of it yet.
Well, it's moments like that that change semi-finals. He's been virtually anonymous for most of this game, Pierre Van Hooydonk, but he's got a striker's instinct. And this is a much better cross-in. Probably the best ball that anyone's played in from Celtic today. And when it's in there, you want someone on the end of it. Van Hooydonk puts himself across Alan McLaren, and that's a super header past Andy Gorham. Just glides it in, no power, just glides it into the corner. And what an interesting end to the game we have now.
Well, the big man with a big scoring record, who has not played a big part in the game to date, has set up a big finish. Donnelly. Van Hooydonk. How will Rangers react? Suddenly it's gung-ho for Celtic. Boyd. Grant. They're within range again. The team in green and white. Boyd. Here's McStay. McKinley. Trevor Stephen, the substitute. McKinley trying to get round him. Can't do so.
Now, the one thing you know about Tommy Burns' the Celtic side this season, they don't give up. They will keep going and going until Les Nordstrom says there's no time left.
And suddenly Celtic are getting to the ball so much quicker. And they're beginning to feel beaten. The heads were hanging. And Hooydonk's head suddenly intervened with a telling flick. Weghorst. And here's McNamara. Oh, well.
Well, if that's Pierre Van Hooydonk, it's 2-2.
But it was Simon Donnelly.
And it's 2-1. But a great ball from Hooydonk to McNamara. What a cross this is. Fizzes it across the box. And it's only his lack of inches, nothing else. And had this man been on the end of that cross, then I think we might be looking at a 2-2 scoreline.
We still might. Of course, an extraordinary finish here to yesterday's semi-final. 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. between Hearts and Aberdeen.
Yeah, they left it late against Dundee United as well, Celtic, didn't they? 2 in the last minute.
Quite right. Van Hooijdonk. Suddenly the ball's sticking when it's played up to him. McNamara. Laudrup. Stephen. He was caught by McKinley. But he got back to dispossess Donnelly and make up for the mistake, but Celtic had the throw. Weghorst. McKinley. Again, we talked about shortage of numbers in the centre. Van Hooijdonk really had to go to the near post. There was no one able to make up the yardage to get in for the deeper cross from Tosh McKinley. We're into the last 5 minutes. Just to remind you again, should Celtic equalise, there is no extra time. Be straight to a replay a week on Wednesday. Tom. That's away by McLaren. Gascoigne couldn't keep it. McStay. Van Hooijdonk. Right on the edge of the area, and determined play by Davy Robertson. McStay. 4 minutes to go. Now McStay. McNamara. Weghorst going in.
Yeah, it was a lovely tempting cross, I have to say, and Alex Cleland was the one under it. I thought Weghorst would fancy his chances here. Beautifully floated cross. McNamara's now provided 3 great crosses in the last 5 or 6 minutes of this match.
Has it come too late for Celtic? To get it forward quickly. He's waving players upfield, although Peter Grant dropped for a short collection, played a matter of yards to his feet. Now he's got to try and join in midfield. The spin behind McLaren, and Donnelly will reach it for Celtic! Was that the moment?
Well, full marks to him for seeing the situation so quickly. And all he does wrong is he just puts a little bit too much weight on the ball. Send behind Anne McLaren, just lift it gently and your team are level. Just gets a bit too much weight on it. He gets it over Andy Gorham. Unfortunately for Simon Donnelly, he puts it over the bar as well. That's a real let-off.
Well, as a spectacle, the match has certainly improved as it's gone along to this climax, in which Celtic are still trying to close the gap. That seems to be the story of their lives, closing the gap on Rangers. Andy, man of the match.
Well, it's not been a classic, and there's not been many brilliant performances. One guy, I think, who from start to finish has really put everything in, worked his socks off and said, played well. And tennis man of the match is Stuart McCall.
Still captaining Rangers with Richard Gough, who had a chance of playing today. Now Peter Grant. He's moved away, and Les Mottram's had to go a long way to caution him. Whether that will try the referee's patience even further.
I think he wins the ball, and he certainly goes over Grant Laudrup, but he seemed to me to get a piece of the ball, Peter Grant.
It's not the first yellow card he's had in an Old Firm game, and I don't expect it will be the last.
Yeah. He's competitive.
And he's Celtic to the core. Weghorst, Van Hooijdonk running to the right. Weghorst not able to settle quickly on the ball thanks to the attention of Stephen, but McNamara's cross, it hits Trevor Stephen, and Donnelly settles to the corner, although John Brown wasn't settling for it.
Well, it's all or nothing now. This needs a good delivery. Josh McKinley's come all the way across with his left foot. The one thing he must do is put it in an area his teammates can attack. Give them a chance to score. That's the order of the day.
The 90 minutes are up. McStay. Played by Cleland against Tom, and it's a goal kick. And it's just a question now how long Les Mottram feels should be added on.
I suspect there might be certainly a minute or two.
Free kick to Celtic. Rangers trying to hold their line as Celtic throw so many players forward. Hughes, of course, is there. Van Hooijdonk, you'd expect. And the ball is too long.
And that's the one thing we didn't want. Just a harmless ball straight through to Andy Gorham.
And the referee tells Gorham to get on with it. McCoist. Donnelly. Van Hooijdonk. Weghorst chasing. Whelan kept his eye on the ball. Nice touch from Trevor Stephen in the circumstances. Got it out of play, well away from the Rangers goal. Not that far away. Not as far away as it seemed and Stephen hoped. It's McKinley with the throw. 2 minutes of stoppage time play.
It's just got to go in the box.
McKinley. Hughes. Good tackling back from McCoist. Gascoigne rather brushed aside that time. McStay. Well, just for a second, it looked as though he might be able to stride on and end this semi-final sensationally and take us to a second game. It doesn't look as though it's going to go that way. Grant. Still maybe time for one more Celtic attack. Brown, great climb. Laudrup, who's good enough to keep the ball. Gascoigne likewise. And keep it he does. And then produces a pass towards McCall. Marshall wastes no time. And Rangers are in the final of the Scottish Cup. In the end, Brian Laudrup's second goal for Rangers was the decisive one. Ali McCoist, just before half-time, turned it Rangers' way. Laudrup's goal seemed to secure their passage into the final, but then came the late scare. Van Hooijdonk's header. And for all Celtic's development this season, they've not cracked their old rivals in 6 attempts. Rangers still have the double very much in their sights, and today's delight even greater. A semi-final success for Paul Gascoigne and his colleagues at the expense of the old enemy and at the expense of the holders as well. They also believe, Rangers, with some justification, that in Walter Smith's time as manager they've never lost to Celtic when it really matters. It certainly mattered here at Hampden this afternoon. And it's finished Rangers 2, Celtic 1.
So it's Rangers then through to the final, where they meet Hearts, of course. And those supporters will have a happy trip home. Not a long one, a happy one, not that young man. We'll be back with the thoughts of Kevin Drinkle and Charlie Nicholas next. Pictures starkly sum up what an afternoon it's been for Celtic and those supporters. A disaster for that young man, beaten, not just beaten, but by Rangers in the semi-finals. And they are absolutely delighted. McCoist and Brian Laudrup. Van Hooijdonk with a late goal for Celtic, which raised the spirits at the Celtic end, but it wasn't to be. The cup holders are out, and Rangers march on towards a double. Final score at Hampden Park, 2-1 to Rangers, who only had 6 attempts all afternoon, hit the target 4 times and scored with 2. 10 attempts from Celtic, on target just twice. Look at the corner count. And the bookings, 8 in the end. 4 apiece. 31 fouls. Possession 60% for Celtic. We got through once, but it wasn't enough. OK, we'll get the thoughts of Kevin Drinkle and Charlie Nicholas in a moment. First of all, let's go pitch side with Davy Provin. He's got Ali McCoist and Paul Gascoigne with him.
Well, with no disrespect to Hearts, who are now awaiting you in the final, do you feel you've just cleared the big hurdle there?
Not really. I've seen Hearts come back. I've seen Hearts play. They beat us 3-1 at home. They played very, very well. It's going to be a tough final, but I'm going to enjoy it.
How tough was it out there today? A lot of challenges flying in the first half.
Yeah, I think we seem to do that a lot. I mean, challenges were going on. Everyone was getting stuck in. The thing is, though, we get the goal in the second one, then we seem to sit back, and then they attacked. But credit to the lads, we're hung on there.
Well, Ali got the first goal. Ali, how relieved were you because you had missed a good chance earlier on?
That's right. I should have hit the one earlier, as Paul told me after I missed it. But I was pleased to get another chance. Missing them doesn't bother me, David. You know, as long as I go on the end or something. And I was pleased to get the one on just before the end of the first half.
Is it going to cost Rangers more money now to keep you here next season?
I hope so. I'm going to need to see him for my new contract now, I think.
Well, how much has this team been motivated by suggestions that Celtic have been a better footballing side?
I don't think it's that. I think if you look at it, Celtic played well, good football. Rangers have normally rattled it. We've continued to play the good football and win matches. The only difference is Celtic have done that as well, and that's the only reason. And I put credit to Tommy, they're playing good football.
What would it mean to you to win a double in your first season in Scotland?
Not bad. It means everything, because I've had about 3 years out of soccer, and this is what it's all about, and this is what it's all about getting fit back for, you know.
Ali, can you think of a better way of spending Easter Sunday?
Yes, tonight.
Enjoy, lads. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Well, if you see him on the town tonight, steer clear. Ali McCoist intends to celebrate, that's plain. Kevin Drinkle and Charlie Nicholas are here with us. I don't think you felt that Rangers were full value for the lead at half-time, Kevin. What about at the end of 90 minutes?
Well, I think we have to look back and say, you know, they've done a job. I think when I come to the game today, Celtic's full-backs are the people that are going to hurt you. They've played Laudrup and Jury to stop that and hit them on the break. And apart from the last 10 minutes, maybe dominated that side of it.
And Celtic, Charlie, will look back on 60% of the possession, 10 opportunities at goal. Maybe didn't hit the target often enough, but from that, they've got to score more, haven't they?
Well, they have. I think they lacked a bit of imagination in the last 25, 30 yards out. Other than young Jackie McNamara, I felt he was the only one that hit any real quality into that area. It proved so for the goal, and once they scored the goal, they looked threatening after that. But up until then, I thought Rangers were kind of coasting to maybe the 1 or 2-0 lead.
We nearly had the finish we were looking for, but having got the goal, they couldn't find a way through again, could they?
No, they couldn't, but they did come close on a few occasions. This is Rangers' goal coming up. It's Robertson and Laudrup, typical link-up. And he just tries to pass this in the corner. Don't think we can blame the goalkeeper. Mr. Poacher's there again.
As we said at half-time, Kevin, that is a striker's goal. You've done it often enough for Rangers. McCoist done it more times than anybody else.
I think it's obviously that's his forte. We spoke about that at half-time. To be in the right spot, the right time, you can't buy that. He's great at it, and he'll be pleased with what he's done today.
There is obviously some discussion up here about his future. He's just made reference to it, the new contract. Be a brave club to let him go, wouldn't it?
I think it's just the extra few pounds, I think, will help him.
Keep him there. Laudrup made it 2-0 with Celtic pushing for an equaliser. They had to be careful. Inevitably, Rangers sprang.
Yeah, it's a good
just
move.
3 balls later, the ball's in the net, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good move. Laudrup just plays it wide to McCoist, and suddenly he's in. The keeper again, he's in no man's land.
Was he right, having come, he made his mind up rather for him,
well,
didn't he?
Possibly not looking back now, but at the time you've got to say, well, he's stuck in the middle. He doesn't really know if Laudrup's going to get the ball down in his left foot. You can see him here. He's just already glanced before. You just see him glancing up. He knows where McCoist is and goes, and he knows the pace is going to hurt John Hughes, and he just gets in right behind him. And I feel for Gordon Marshall, because he is. Laudrup's, it's a decent touch, and he's left totally isolated, and he's just lifted over him.
But Celtic kept plugging away patiently, and eventually they got their reward. But that made it a difficult job, Kevin, didn't it?
I think at that stage we were just speaking before the goal, actually, and Celtic were dominating at that time. I think they'd been around the Rangers goal for something like 8 or 10 minutes, and that was typical of the way Rangers set out to play and hit them on the break.
Eventually Van Hooijdonk scored for Celtic to make it 2-1.
This is possibly the best cross he's put in the whole game. They're good at that. We spoke about that earlier, about Laudrup and Jury stopping the service from the full-backs. He got it in there. It's a great ball in. Van Hooijdonk gets across his marker, and it's a lovely little header.
Guided into that corner.
The cross has made it. I mean, the pace on the cross. He's bending in towards the forward quite nicely. And he's begging for somebody to go and head that into the net. And Pierre Van Hooijdonk's done just that and got him back in the game. And, you know, coming from McNamara was a lovely cross. It makes your mind up to go for that near post run. And
there were two more in that final spell, that final 10 minutes or so from McNamara. Donnelly was the player on the end of them. Andy said here that had it been Van Hooijdonk and not Donnelly, this was 2-2.
Yeah, I think we're just in a period.
Couldn't get up enough, could he?
We're in a period now where they've thrown caution to the wind, and they need that extra goal, and the fullbacks have ventured forward more. Whether that's Laudrup getting tired, we don't know, but definitely the fullbacks got the service into the box, and as we say, somebody maybe 2 inches taller would have buried that one.
And what about this opportunity? This was virtually the last chance of the game, and what a finish this would have been for 2-2. But he sniffed the chance out here himself, Charlie, didn't he?
Well, he did. He anticipated. He got in behind McLaren. But, I mean, I think Gorham's done tremendously well there. I mean, Donnelly's running in and goal, knowing that he's favourite to get the ball, but Gorham's threw himself the whole lot at him, and he's got to lift it over him. Unfortunately for Simon, lifted it too much. But, I mean, Gorham, I mean, you've got to give him praise there.
Well, let's find out if his manager does. Here is Walter Smith with Davy Provitt.
Walter, at 2-0 up, you appear to have the game under control, but you finished the game once again on the ropes. What was going through your mind when Celtic scored?
Well, exactly the same as the league game the other week. We managed to get ourselves in front and sat back a little bit and allowed Celtic to come into the game, and I felt we did that again today. You know, we've got quite a few players that have been out for a period of time over the season with injury, and I don't think that we're at full match fitness. But in saying that, you know, a wee bit of deja vu. I thought we were going to go back into that situation where we were going to let them back into the game again.
Nevertheless, you came through, and it's another crunch game against Celtic 1. What do you make of the character of this Rangers side you have?
Well, we've always said that. I mean, I've said over the period we have a terrific team spirit in the dressing room. I think that's seen us through in a lot of games. We've never maybe been able to play great football on a consistent basis, but we've managed to get results over the season, and you know, that I suppose is the main thing for us.
If you look ahead now to the run in the Championship, do you think now that there's no need for motivation, will you take a real high off of this going to Tynecastle on Wednesday?
Well, I said to players before the game today, if there was a need for motivation for this game and for the remaining games of the season, then I, as a manager, had a problem with a group of players. I think they see the winning post, and you know, they're in a situation just now where if they can't motivate themselves for that, then there's something far wrong. And I think they showed for the first hour of the game anyway today. I felt we created some really good chances to score, and you know, might have been more than the 2 up at that stage. But then again, in the latter stages of the game, Celtic come back at us, and you know, they might have got an equaliser near the end.
Will you be glad to see the back of them? Do you think 6 times is too much in the one season?
Well, 6 times is an awful lot, especially the importance that people place in the games. It's not good in the nerves. But we've managed to get away with the 6 without losing this season, so that's the first time I can remember that for a long while.
Ali McCoy says he wants to talk to you right now about a new contract.
Well, I think that'll probably be the case. I mean, can't get away from it. He's always there to score. And then again today, and you know, he might have managed to have another one. Actually missed one in the first half of the game, which is a wee bit unusual for him. But I'm sure that if he comes in on Monday morning, everything will be waiting for him.
Seriously though, will you keep him?
Oh yes, I mean, we'll try to do so. I mean, you see that people jump in all the time just now. I mean, he himself wants to stay in, and the club want to keep him, and that's the basic thing. And we've not really sat down and got to talking about a contract, and there's a lot of stuff appears that he's going to Japan or going to America or you know, wherever he's going. It's an important stage of his career, and when people ask me if we're going to sign him, I can't say yes because he's got to agree to that as well. And nowadays the players have the freedom to leave the club if they wish, so therefore it's maybe me putting the cart before the horse by saying we're told to keep him, but I'm sure in the next few weeks we'll come to some kind of agreement.
OK, Walter, well done today.
Thanks, David.
It's a refreshingly honest answer as well. Charlie, just thinking about those distraught Celtic fans making their way home tonight. 6 times they've had a crack at it this season, and they haven't beaten Rangers. What was the missing ingredient, do you think?
I just thought the imagination. I was expecting a bit more from Andy Tom today. He kind of flickered in and out the game in wide positions.
But in general, across those 6 games?
Well, in general, I don't think there's... Rangers have got a style of play that they adapt against Celtic, and they just sit in and defend. Celtic are the attacking, so more of an attacking side. But when it comes to the defensive setup, Celtic are vulnerable because Rangers will hit them on the break. Probably out of the 6 games, Celtic have probably been the best team in most of those games, probably 5 of those games. So it's particularly difficult for them to accept.
That makes it worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, it's really difficult. But as long as they keep their team keeps going at Rangers, they'll be just happy. I mean, they'll be disappointed tonight, but over the season they've been pretty happy.
Are they too far away in the title race?
No, I don't think they are. I think it could go all the way. They've got to dig in now and keep the results coming in the league, but they've got to give their fans a good run-in.
So that's Rangers into the final this afternoon. The other semi was played yesterday, of course, between Aberdeen and Hearts. The commentator is Rob McLean.
There's Poynton's corner. There's Dave McPherson's header! Cleared by Michael Watt! And it's there! John Robertson has scored! John Robertson doing what he's best at. When the scraps are around, he'll happily take them. Dave McPherson caused the problems from the corner kick with the downward header. Aberdeen couldn't get it clear. Now what can Aberdeen do with this free kick? In from Glass, up goes Rusey, up goes Duncan Shearer, and Shearer scored! Shearer rescues Aberdeen! Rusey halfway towards the halfway line. He didn't get there. John Robertson will keep this in. Neil Poynton's inside. Johnston's in the middle. There is Johnston's header! Alan Johnston has scored for Hearts. And this match takes another amazing twist.
That's Hearts into the final for the first time in 10 years. Rangers 7-2 on Hearts 5-2. Can you see beyond another Rangers win, Kevin?
Obviously, the way we're looking at the moment, but that's a big boost to Edinburgh, I think. Everybody talks about the Glasgow side of stuff, and they've made great progress this year, so they'll be happy to be there, and I'm sure